Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Let's talk about how to trade this market right now, because this market has been a bit of a pain in the ass to trade for the last couple of weeks. And why do I say that? Well, you can see, first of all, here's the month of March. The price action has been a lot more compressed last month compared to any other point in this monster rally we've had since the end of last year, right? The intraday ranges have gotten smaller. Here's the start of the month. Here's towards the last third of the month. We pretty much went nowhere until Powell came out and said whatever Powell thinks he said, right? And then we broke out to a new high, and it's like, finally, we might get something going, right? But instead, we just slowly dripped lower, right? We tested this breakout, then we got a little bit of a bounce, and then today we had a decent sized gap down, right? And before I get into how do you trade this, let me just say it's really important to remember that there's going to be the thing you want the market to do, and then there's going to be the thing that the market actually does. And it's really important to recognize when those two things don't align, right? Say you were here and you were just waiting for this breakout to new high, and you're like, hey, we finally got it, right? We're just going to start grinding higher because look at all these other times we've broken out to a new relative high or an all-time high or whatever, and how we just started grinding higher. Well, that's not what happened, right? So if you just loaded up on longs here on this day because you're like, hey, look at this gap up, we're going to just go, go, go. Well, you had a torturously slow drip lower. Then you got a little bounce, but nothing to get too excited about because, again, this price action is just super compressed and just, I don't know, just very sluggish. And then we gap down today. So just remember that there's going to be the thing you want the market to do, and then there's the thing that the market actually does. And it's important to realize when those don't align, because you don't want to get caught up in trading what you hope is going to happen, because that's not going to work. You're not going to make money if you do that. It's important to realize what the market is actually showing you, right? So, what am I expecting now with all this crap here? Well, honestly, I am hoping that the market dips a little bit more. Where might it dip to? I don't know. Could be 512, maybe 510, maybe 515, or maybe this is as much as we're going to get and then we're just going to start grinding higher. I don't really know. But at whatever point we actually find support and then we confirm the support and start to bounce, that's going to be a great opportunity to enter strong stocks that have been holding up well, and you can enter them as shorter term swings. I'm serious. That will be a really nice point to get long, but you have to wait and confirm support, right? And why am I so confident that we're not just going to drop, drop, drop? Well, that's because of the longer term strength here. The fact that we've had basically zero dip over the last 5 months of this relentless buying tells me that buyers are super bullish. They want to buy stocks. I don't care if the Fed is coming out saying, actually, no, we're not going to do 3 rate cuts. We're going to do 1 or 2 or maybe none, right? This is a big ass rally. At the very least, if this is really the high for the year or something, we're going to pull back and buyers are going to try one more time to get back to this high. And if sellers are aggressive enough, or buyers just actually are not that interested enough and profit taking stops that bounce, then we would see that lower high double top. But until that happens, and if it happens, we just assume that we're just finally getting the dip that everyone's been waiting for here. So, in any case, let's get back to the topic of how do we trade this market. And by the way, before we even get to that, I know I'm going back and forth here. If you're so scared right now that this market is just going to drop, it's probably because you've got a lot of longs on right now, and you're scared because the market isn't doing what it's been doing, which is just never look back and grind up higher, right? Well, one, recognize your fear right now and see if that's telling you something. Are you oversized? Do you just have way too many bullish positions on? Are you trading against the market here, meaning you're a little too bullish on the shorter term when the market is kind of just flat like a pancake, right? It's important to think about, why are you scared? And second of all, again, to show why I'm so confident in this, let's look at some other longer term rallies at certain points in the past. Here's one from last year, from the lows of the regional banking crisis all the way up to the high of July. Now, if you look at this rally, right, this is not anywhere near as strong as the rally we have had over the last 5 months. And why is that? Well, just look at this. You've got mixed candles, you've got green candles, red candles, gap up, gap down, right? Now, of course, this was just some of the following volatility after all the banking issues. But then we got up here, okay, then we just sat here and compressed forever. This was a really slow month and a half, 2 months or so. Then we started going up, but you can see, right, there's a lot of red, green, and red days, right? And even then, we still didn't really get much of a dip here until finally, at this point, we pulled back. Okay, this was after this breakout here, which is really nice, right? And then we bounced, right? We pull back, we make a higher low, and then we bounce higher. So if this rally right here can pull back and find support and bounce, even when lurking in the shadows, bears are screaming, no, no, this is not the end of the banking crisis. We're going to see more bank failures, higher for longer, blah, 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 blah. I could give you a million more reasons why I would have been bearish back here compared to now. But if this little, I don't know, we'll call it wimpy relative to the rally right now, if this can see a little pullback like here, and go higher, then so could this freaking monster rally, right? I mean, just look at this. This is insanely strong, right? And when I was just talking about that, pullback and then maybe see a double top if this is really the high for right now or whatever, well, that's exactly what happened here, right? We had a longer pullback. Okay, I wouldn't expect a pullback in our current rally to look anything like this because, again, the strength of the rally that we have seen here is phenomenal. The strength of this rally, sure, we didn't have many dips or whatever, but this is definitely not as strong as what we have right now. So, whatever, right? The market dipped and it was starting to get bearish, right? People were like, oh no, this is the top or whatever, right? But then buyers came in and they tried to get it back to this high here and they couldn't, right? This is what resulted in that lower high, double top. Then the market started to sell off and we had that bearish part of the third quarter last year, let's just say. So anyways, this is an example of what I'm talking about with, here's a rally, pull back, you go higher, you pull back, you make that lower high, double top, whatever. Just, again, this rally is nowhere near as strong as what we have seen. So let's go back even further to show you why I feel this, all right? Here's the 2022 bear market, right? Here is the 2021 bull market, right? In fact, this is actually, let's go ahead and just include the COVID drop. Holy shit, that looks crazy to look at this. But here is that pretty much year and a half long, absolutely insane bull market, right? You have the lows, okay, you're going to see some volatility, whatever. Then by some point in, I think this is 2021. Yeah, this is like the end of 2020, right? This starts to get more stable and we just start to grind higher, right? You pull back. This is probably the 50 SMA. Let me just go ahead and put it on real quickly to show you. Yep. Here's the 50 SMA. You pull back. Oh my God, look at this heavy volume selling, right? This is the top. No, it's not. It's just a pullback in a bullish market. Okay, you go higher. All right, you pull back to the 50 SMA, maybe even a little bit lower. You had one close below it. Then you go higher. Then you pull back. 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 Then you go higher. I know that was probably really annoying, but seriously, this is what pullbacks look like in a bullish market. And every single time this pullback comes, right? Look at this. Heavy volume, heavy volume, heavy volume, heavy volume, right? It's so scary because it's like, oh, look, the volume on the drops is so much larger than on the way up. Sure, right? The point is, a rally of this duration and strength is going to see pullbacks, especially as it matures. but by no means is this, are we just going to drop all of a sudden because whatever just happened, right? Seriously, unless there's bank failures with Goldman and JP Morgan or some catastrophic black swan event, you're not going to see stacked long red candles, right? Instead, you're going to have this sort of topping out phase, right? Like this is where the bear market began. Yes, it got a little bit more dramatic, but if you were paying attention to Pete's videos and or you just had experience and you saw the end of year weakness in 2021, right? You were expecting that perhaps this is a warning sign that we might see some bearish action, right? And even then, we still had a rally up to try to get back up here. That resulted in this lower high double top. And then the bear market started to really start screwing with everybody. So anyways, I know I'm ranting all about this, but I'm just trying to perhaps give you some assurance. If you're scared right now, understand that you're probably caught up in some bullish positions and the market's not doing what you want it to do, and you're scared that this is the top. Just relax. This is just a dip. At some point we'll find support and we'll bounce, and it'll be a great time to enter swings. Okay, enough of me talking about not the context of this video, which is how do we trade this right now. Well, let's talk about how do we do that, right? So we already know that the price action has been just absolutely flat, abysmal, right? Look at this, chop, 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 go nowhere. Day before, we just sit around, do nothing. Day before, similar thing. Someone dumps 10,000 futures contracts, whatever, we gap up the next day. Just really shitty, slow price action. So if you're a long only trader, the best thing to do right now is to just wait for support to be established. Because sure, you can try trading from the long side, but when the market is dripping lower like this, you don't have a market tailwind, you have a market headwind, which is going to be pushing your stocks down, right? And the same with this today, right? We had this huge gap down. Yeah, we had this really wimpy kind of move higher here where sellers at least weren't able to push it down anymore, right? Buyers were able to at least support the market here. But even then, it's not like a super bullish market by any means. You have to respect the fact that we had this big gap down. So it's hard to just get long on an intraday basis, let alone a swing basis right now. So my advice is always to patiently wait for the right opportunity to set up. I know that if you've been trading from the long side lately, it's been harder just because we haven't had a whole lot of momentum or movement. But if you are able to hold yourself off from just firing off trades left and right, and you are patient and you are waiting, just waiting for a moment like this day, right? Where we established support on this little gap down, then we filled the gap and we started grinding higher, right? This is an awesome day to day trade, right? This was the FOMC day, but you get the point, right? Just wait for your windows of opportunity here. At some point, we'll get a nice bullish trend day that we can fire off some nice day trades, probably get some swing trades going too as the market finds support. What I'm trying to say is don't force anything right now. And even if you're brave enough to try shorting this market right now, which, by all means, if you are comfortable enough doing, go ahead and give it a shot. I don't recommend it. And if you're going to do it, recognize you are shorting against a market of this longer term strength. It's going to be a little challenging because buyers are here, and at any moment they could come back and support the market like this, right? This was like sometime last week where just randomly at the end of the day, buyers came in and bought all this stuff. So if you shorted here, you got your ass handed to you in the last 30 minutes or so. And, the price action to the downside, although we had this big gap down today, right, and some selling on some of these other days, it's not like it's super aggressive selling, right? You've got mixed overlapping candles, you've got tails and wicks, you get a little bit of a compression, you see a bounce, lower, higher low, double bottom, right? But it's still, all of this crap is just super compressed and not going anywhere. So it's just hard to get really anything going right now, which is, again, why I strongly recommend you just wait for support to form and for that bullish trend day to come. And while you're waiting, what should you be doing? You should be flipping through stocks and trying to find stocks that are holding up really well on the daily chart. So one, find stocks that are in nice longer term trends. And two, another thing you should be doing is find stocks that have had recent D1 breakouts or breakouts on the daily chart through significant resistance, because it's likely that with the market getting a little bit flat and pulling back here, they're probably going to be testing those breakouts. And when the market finds support, if those stocks hold that breakout, that tells you that yes, buyers actually are interested in buying that stock there at that very moment. Let me go ahead and go through my watch list here, or my alert list, I'll call it, and show you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's see. AIG. Here's just an example of a super strong stock, right? Market was down today quite a bit. Look at this thing. This thing was actually up, right? Opened pretty much flat. And then if you put up the SPY overlay, you can see, well, of course the market was kind of just gradually drifting higher, but it did not gap down like the market did. And you can see this longer term strength. Buyers are certainly interested in this. When the market finds support, this thing is going to go higher. This is ALL. So that's why I've got it in my alert watch list here, because I certainly would like to buy this stock because I would love to join this longer term trend. Let's go ahead and go through some of these, try to find those breakouts I'm talking about. Here's a breakout, right? LNC, you can see the stock's a little choppy. It broke out here, okay? It found support at the halfway point of this long green candle, which shows you buyers who were all up in here are interested. You go higher, and now you're pulling back. All right, so what would I want to see if I wanted to go long on LNC? Ideally, this blue line here, which is the 8 EMA on the daily chart, ideally that holds, right? Because that pretty much coincides with this breakout right here. Yeah, you could perhaps pull back a little bit more. Here's the 15 EMA on the daily chart, right? That's above this breakout level. I certainly wouldn't want to see it pull back too much more here, but if it can hold this level here and the market starts to pull back just even a little bit more and it sticks around this 8 EMA, this thing is also going to go higher. The fact that this breakout holds, if it does, that tells you that buyers are interested in this thing here. And guess what? Look at this breakout here, right? These big buying days, they had heavy volume. What about these selling days? These are pretty low volume days. Let's look at the 5-minute price action. Yeah, you see a little bit more organized selling, sure, but not anything super bearish by any means. And again, this breakout level here, we poked into the gap, and at the end of the day, buyers came in and they scooped this thing up. So watch LNC. Let's go through some other ones. MRK. Look at this. This had a huge gap up, broke out through this relative high here. And what did it do? What did it do today? Well, it sold off initially. You can see this wick here, right? Let's go to the 5-minute chart. You can see gap down. Oh no, we're gonna fill in that D1 gap, and then buyers come in and start buying this thing up, right? Here's another one to be watching. If this can hold this breakout level here, this is also going to be a nice long. Let's just keep going, because why not? APH, here's another one, right? This one's been a little bit choppier, so not as strong, but you can see here was the breakout at the end of March, okay? Yeah, this is a long red candle, so pay attention to that, just see what's happening with the news here, but it still is holding this breakout level, so that's awesome. Also happens to be sitting on the 15 EMA on the daily chart right now. So here's another one that you can be watching. Let's keep going. I guess I'm just going to be giving you some potential stock picks, all right? Here is Fidelity. This one has been really strong lately. Here's the breakout. You test the breakout, you go higher, and now you're pulling back a bit, right? But look at this. You gap down today, and buyers just bought this shit all day long. This is a strong stock, and this one wants to go higher. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that as annoying as the market has been the last couple of weeks because of just how flat pancakey it has been, we are eventually going to find support here and we'll start to grind higher, right? And when we do, you want to have your stock picks that you're interested in so that when we find support, you're ready to fire on the strongest of stocks and you'll be happy that you were patient and you waited and you didn't force shitty trades because you were just tempted to go long because you just got to have trades on. Remember that no position is a position itself, okay? So don't freak out. Don't force mediocre trades. Just wait for the market to go in the direction that you're waiting for it to go, which is probably to the upside, right? Especially if you're a long only trader right now. Here's another nice stock, PNC. It's a little bit choppier, but the reason I like this is you have this nice longer term downward sloping trend line broken to the upside. This is an automated trend line drawn by Option Stalker Pro. And you can see here, it broke out above, right? It went down a little bit. Okay. Then it broke back out above it again. And now we're pulling back here. And you can see we're right on the 8 EMA and the 15 EMA is pretty much right at that trend line. If it can find support here, especially above here, make a higher low and then go, this stock's going to want to go. And guess what? Not only is it above this trend line here, but it's also right at this previous high here. So could it be finding support? I don't know. You don't buy it right now because you have to wait for the bounce to actually bounce. You can't just say, oh, this is the bottom. I want to get in early and buy now. Don't do that. That's a stupid idea because, well, you don't have market support and the stock is currently having some profit taking or some selling. So just wait for the confirmation and the bounce. Let's go through some other ones because, why not? Here's TTD, choppy stock. Why do I like this? Well, you can see the halfway point through February, bullish earnings. All right, you fill in this gap, whatever. Then we get above AVWAP. Okay, this is a nice breakout, right? You break out above this high here. And then we kind of compress a bit because the market is doing nothing. Then today it really gapped down. And look at where this thing found support. Came back, it tested this breakout above AVWAP pretty much right to a T and then bounced all day long. Look at that. Gap down, touch it, and then you rally all day long. So this is another nice one of those look for recent breakouts on the daily chart to see if the stock is holding up well here, right? Target is another one, for example. Here's your breakout after earnings. You pull back a little bit. You're just digesting these earnings gains. You go higher. You got a really nice grind higher from that point. We're getting a pullback here. When the market finds support, Target's going to want to go higher, right? Especially if it holds this previous high here, which is sitting at support right now. And if you look at the tail for the candle today, look at where that was. That was pretty much right here and it closed above it. So Target's going to want to go higher. And not only just, recent breakouts, but just flat out strong stocks like I've shown you on some of the other ones. Here's VST, for example. This thing isn't even pulling back. It's just sitting here waiting for the market to go. And whenever it does, this one's also going to go higher. So it doesn't just have to be, look for recent breakouts. Just look for strong ass stocks like this that are just sitting waiting for the market to tell it, go higher, right? Let's look at another one. PGR is an excellent, excellent stock. Not only is this thing not dipped when the market has done absolutely nothing, it's breaking out to a new all-time high when the market's been selling off and it's going higher. That's crazy. This is a damn strong stock. The fact that it's holding all of these gains and not dipping, this thing is also going to go higher when the market finds support. I know I'm just dragging this on and on and on, and I could go through all these stocks and show you how, amazing they are or whatever. But the point is, number one, no matter the market conditions, just be patient always. Just wait for the right opportunity to go long. Unfortunately, yes, oftentimes that means you're going to be sitting on your hands, bored out of your mind because you're like, I just want to make money and put on a trade. But you have to understand that, again, what you want the market to do is not always going to be what the market actually does. Don't force your will on the market because the market doesn't give a damn. And if you force mediocre, half assed trades, the market's going to punish you for that. So just wait. And while you're waiting, the best thing to be doing, like, I've been doing here, is just set alerts on strong stocks, create watch lists, look at stocks that are really strong and are oblivious to what the market is doing intraday, and like see which of these are grinding higher, right? Energy has obviously been really, really strong lately, and it's going to behave independent outside of SPY, right? But I mean, look at this awesome grind higher, right? There are good day trades out there. You just have to search for them, but just recognize that for most stocks that are following what the market does, it's going to be harder to trade those just because you don't have that market tailwind. But like I said, even then, there are stocks that are just flat out grinding higher. Like JCI is one, right? I mean, look at this thing. This is damn strong. You got the breakout here. You test for support a bit. This thing wants to go higher. So just look through all of these stocks and just see, which of these are something I'm going to want to go long on. Am I going to go long on all 42 of these stocks right here when the market finds support? No, I'm not going to. I'm going to pick the best of all of these and go long on those ones. But until then, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting on my hands, looking through stocks, seeing what's holding up well, what's pooping and not doing so hot or whatever, right? And I'm just trying to find the best of the best so that once the higher probability trading conditions come, I'll be ready to go long. So that's my advice to you. I'm sorry this video is a little bit annoying and I'm ranting and maybe you don't find this helpful. Hopefully you find it helpful, and that, you should always be just searching for stocks of interest, whether you are a long only trader or a short only trader for some reason. I don't know. Just when the market's not doing what you want it to do and the trading probabilities are low, just search through stocks so that you're ready to go. You're ready to fire when the market does what you are waiting for it to do. But don't force crappy trades because it is going to smack you down, and that is not what you want, right? Especially if you are struggling and you want to become more consistent. Before you can become consistently profitable, you have to become consistently well behaved, which means you're not making silly mistakes that are just out of poor trade management and other, not good trading management habits, right? If you can sit on your hands, be as patient as a monk right now, I'm telling you, that is going to pay off very well now and in the future, because if you have the patience to just not force, mediocre trades, that's going to pay off in the long run, because most traders cannot be patient. They have to have a trade on. And, well, remember that 80% of traders lose money. And it's crazy to say this, but it's so true. You don't have to open a trade to do better than 80% of traders, right? If you're sitting on your hands and not opening positions, you're not making money, but you're not losing money either. And 80% of traders are losing money. So just by sitting there doing nothing and scanning for the best stocks and just waiting for your opportunity to strike, you're doing a hell of a lot better than those who are forcing crappy trades and losing money right now. And you're building patience, which is not what those guys have. So, anyways, I think I've ranted enough. Hopefully, we find support soon. Whenever the next market event happens, and what do I mean by that? Well, bullish trend day, or I don't know, bank failure and some crazy drop happens because of it, which, that's not going to happen. 99.999% chance that's not going to happen. But whatever the case, I will make a video, and at some point this week I'll probably do some live trading too. So hopefully that means that one of these days we see a nice bullish trend day, or at least just some bullish price action. And if not, and you happen to be around when I go live, then you can sit in the chat with me and I will tell you, be patient. Don't take crappy trades. You can tell me, Spectre, oh my God, I want to trade this crappy stock for whatever reason. I don't know. Let's look at I don't know. I'm not even going to pull up a stock, just whatever. Come in the chat and I will help you be patient, is what I'm trying to say. And if you just want to chill, then, you can just come in the chat and chill. Whatever the case, look to some sort of live stream happening at some point. I don't know when, but anyways, before I go, be patient, sit on your hands, look for strong stocks, wait for support. You will be happy you didn't force trades in this crap here. Cool. Have a good night. Sleep well, whatever you're doing, and then get ready for the market the next day and so on. Peace out.